Hey, what's up, guys? This is 260 Jake. I saw a post on Facebook here recently, a buddy of mine shared, and it kind of gave me the idea to run through this real quick. Uh, I like tools a lot, obviously, and it kind of, I don't know, rubbed me the wrong way, the way that this guy made this post, that there was a guy that actually bought a Matco ratchet head, flex head, and modified it to put it in a Pittsburgh Pro breaker bar body. So it just took me down this whole rabbit hole of just getting fired up about tools and purchasing tools and how it makes sense. I am nowhere near CP the Tool Addict or anybody like that with my tool collection, but I do have a pretty badass set. My home set, I've got a Matco 4S 2-bay with a hutch. I've also got a half chest over on the bench. I've got a roll cart at home, and then at Fort Wayne Speed Shop where I kind of work part-time in the evenings, that's where I do my main wrenching. And over there I've got a Jamestown 773 Matco American-made service cart. And I think everything applies in tools as it is in life. The first point that I make is that you get what you pay for. So all of us go to Harbor Freight and buy stuff. I have some different tools I brought inside from the garage. I don't have all my stuff from Speed Shop here, obviously, but like this right here, Pittsburgh 15 millimeter socket. I got a metric set of sockets, Pittsburghs, a while back when I did a rear subframe change out in my stepdaughter's Nissan Murano. So I needed metric. Everything I do is usually standard on the Harley Davidson stuff, so I needed some metric stuff. I went to Harbor Freight, was able to acquire a set of these sockets for like 20 bucks for a rail of them. It did great for what I needed. I've never used these sockets since. So in that moment, it made sense. To the first point that I want to make about buy what makes sense to you, in the type of tool that you're going to use and how much you're going to use it. So this applies to everything, all the way from mechanics tools to tools at home to whatever. So my first example I'm going to use right here. We did a floor in our upstairs. I've never used a jigsaw in my life. We went literally to Walmart and got a Hyper Tough for 10 bucks. Use this thing once, the floor's done, it'll never get used again. So did it make sense for me to go buy a DeWalt for that application? No, it didn't. So that's not what we did. But I've got a really nice set of used DeWalt 18-volt tools from a buddy of mine a few years ago, and these things are old. Like, these things were actually on a job site for a while, beat to shit, and I've literally changed the blades and keep on running them. So I haven't even had to upgrade to the XR stuff yet, because I bought a nice set of tools at a good price, and they last a long time. So your name brand stuff in your power tool game, like your Milwaukee, your DeWalt, your Makita, that type of stuff, it's going to last. It's just, it's built to last better. So buy what applies to you, what makes sense. And here's another example at Christmas this year. Everybody has this little starter set of home tools somewhere in their craft room or in their house for doing minor repairs. And it comes with, little $4 hammer or whatever in it. And yeah, there was a time that this thing probably worked great for one of us in the house or my wife making crafts with or whatever. But I wanted to try to teach my son in an early age how important it is to me to buy local and how important it is to me to buy nice things. So my son's about to turn 12 for Christmas this year. I went to our local hardware store and bought him a brand new Estwing, Eastwing, I don't know how you pronounce it, hammer. American made. This thing was like 33 bucks. Little 12 ouncer since he's a little guy yet, but this is a hammer that will last him for life. So right there is the point that I'm trying to make, that was there an application maybe that you didn't need an expensive hammer? Probably, but I also want him to understand that good quality tools will last a lifetime if you take care of them. And that applies to any different trade. Obviously, construction guys are going to be able to tell you that with the tools they use. That's why Milwaukee and DeWalt sell the best. That's why they make so many tools. You get into mechanics tools, and it's another thing. But it opens it up to rounding back to the point about this gentleman who took a ratchet head and put it on a cheap body. So he had 30 bucks in a breaker bar and 40 bucks in a ratchet head. He had $70 and this ratchet that's now half Matco, half off-brand. Man, why don't you just look at your resources that we all have? Get on Marketplace, get on eBay, go to your local pawn shop. You could have found a Matco ratchet for 70 bucks online. And to that point, and the mechanics side of it, that all these guys have different levels. Like, if you're just working in your garage a little bit, tinkering around here or there, there's nothing wrong with probably buying some Craftsman stuff or some Cobalt stuff. There's nothing wrong with those tools. So that's where I kind of scale my collection, where the stuff that I have at home that I don't use as much, is more of the lower end of the tool truck tools, and then the stuff that I've got at Speed Shop is all my like name brand Primo, Matco stuff that I use a lot of the times. And if you don't have access to a tool truck guy, you can get online. But again, I want to make the point, before you get on Amazon or before you buy some stuff from somebody who's not going to support our community, not only your local community of where you live, but the community of YouTube personalities and the mechanics that are on YouTube, different tradesmen that are on YouTube. Get on Jersey Discount Tool Company. You can buy Astra Pneumatic, you can buy Easy Red, you can get all the brands that are supplied to the tool trucks at a price you can afford, shipped right to your house. So I just got my first set of vessel screwdrivers, armor grips from them at a really reasonable price. The shipping was right there. 2 or 3 days I had the stuff in my hands all the way from New Jersey to Indiana. That's pretty dope. But then to my point about, buying stuff off the eBay or whatever used, I have access to one of the best, in my opinion, tool drivers around, tool dealers is Gilbert Tools LLC. He's our local Matco guy up here in Northeast Indiana. Like this, for instance, you get on a lot of tool trucks, you can ask them if they have anything that's repoed or used. I got this long-handled Mac 1/2-inch ratchet, great condition, minor wear, for like $50. Nice tool. So right there's something where this guy spent $70 to make, a Matco ratchet. I got a used Mac ratchet for $50 out of the used drawer. It's well taken care of. Probably needs cleaned up a little bit, but it's a nice tool truck quality tool that I got used the same way that you can get that off of eBay or Marketplace. So you have that option. The other option that you have is brands like Gear Wrench and Carlisle. If you're not, a professional mechanic and you don't think that it's necessary to spend money on Matco or Snap-on, there's nothing wrong with that. There's so many good brands. I love Carlisle from Napa. This is one of my favorite ratchets. It's a ergo grip. It's a push button locking flex head 3/8 drive. I got this thing a long time ago on sale for like $55, and this is probably one of my favorite ratchets that I use. And anybody that lives near a Napa Auto Parts, you can get a hold of one of these bad boys. You watch the sale flyers and stuff. I saw a 1/4-inch swivel head ratchet for $24.99. It's a Carlisle. This is nice quality tools, guys. Gear Wrench. Everybody knows and loves Gear Wrench. You can get starter sets of tools and wrench sets and plier sets and screwdriver sets from Gear Wrench at your local hardware store, Tractor Supply, depending on where you live. There's nothing wrong with this stuff. You can buy this stuff from Jersey Discount Tool Company. Some of your tool dealers, if you have access to one, can get them. And then to my point earlier about the levels of tools that that these different companies have, Matco has different brands of the kind of their offshore stuff, like the ADV line. I have a lot of ADV sockets at home for impact, because I don't use a ton of impact sockets a lot, but I also like the quality a little bit more than just how it feels with the Pittsburgh. A lot of people, I don't think there's anything wrong with some of this Pittsburgh stuff. To me, it's just, I would rather try to support my local dealer when I can, when it makes sense for me. Obviously, I don't want to go spend a fortune with this guy if I don't have to. If I'm changing a subframe one time on metric that I never use, I'm not going to spend $300 on a set of sockets from them. But SAE sockets, impact, this is something that I use a lot, and I want to be able to warranty out pretty easy, and I have access to a good dealer. So I bought a bunch of ADV sockets at a nice price on sale. So every tool company that you get on the tool truck, a lot of you may be aware of this, some of you may not, have a lower brand. So for instance, Matco has Silver Eagle. Silver Eagle is their offshore brand. That's still lifetime warranty. They're still really, really nice tools. And for a guy that may be working in their garage that wants something a little bit nicer than a Craftsman, this is a 72 tooth Silver Eagle 3/8 ratchet. These things are, I think you can buy the 1/4, the 3/8, and the 1/2 for around $100 from your dealer, plus tax, roughly, depending on where you live. I'm sure the price fluctuates a little bit, but Silver Eagle ratchet right here, $25, $30 tool. Really nice, slim teardrop design, a little bit nicer than what you may get from the newer, offshore Craftsman stuff. So that's an option, and they all have it. Mac has their lower brand Expert. Matco has their lower brand Silver Eagle. Snap-on has Blue Point. Cornwell has like Blue Power, Blue Ion, or whatever. So if you don't need to spend the money on the top brand, then you don't have to. And I have a lot of Silver Eagle stuff. But then, like this, for instance, ratcheting wrenches that I use more of, I have Primo Matco. I got a good sale price on them. I like some of the tool truck stuff. Pretty nice. Got it from my buddy Gilbert Tools LLC. Good guy. Standard wrench sets. I weighed out the options of, would it make sense for me to get the Matco Primo stuff? to have a little bit more length, and it just doesn't for what I do with most of the motorcycles. So Silver Eagle makes sense. I have a set of Silver Eagle in my box at home and in my cart at the speed shop. And there's even lower brands than that, like you can get industrial brands. So Stanley Black & Decker, who owns Mac, also has an industrial brand called Proto Tools. So if you're into the Mac brand, you can get Proto stuff. Proto makes an anti-vibe hammer just like the anti-vibe hammers that are made by Mac. It's probably made in the same factory, and they just stamp a different name or forge a different name into them. But then, like Snap-on has an industrial brand, Williams Tools. They're offshore, they're made in China, but a lot of times your Snap-on guy may warranty this stuff. They make hard-handle screwdrivers, they make things like that. So you can get these different types of tools at a lower grade. Here's a set of Blue Power ratchets that a friend of mine got me for a gift one time. I have a quarter, a 3/8 and a half of this. This is a nice high-end 100-tooth ratchet. The reverse and forward selector is a little bit different than some, but you have all those options at your fingertips. Again, to not have to make a tool, you don't have to take a Matco head and put it in a Pittsburgh handle. If you want to go spend 10, 15 bucks on a Pittsburgh ratchet because that's what makes sense for your application, there's nothing wrong with that. I just try to encourage more and more to try to buy local when you can, and try to buy from distributors and dealers that you know. I buy as much as I can from Gilbert Tools because he's a close friend of mine, so why wouldn't I want to support my friends? And I have the ease of the fun that I get to have on the truck when I see them. We get to yak it up, we get to have fun and laugh and have a good time. And I get to catch up with him, go through the used drawer, check out the flyer. It's, you're paying for that service and that experience. And that's why those tool truck tools are a little bit more expensive. But it doesn't always make sense to buy higher end tool truck tools, right? So if it doesn't, check out some of this other stuff. Justin Dow's videos are freaking top notch on how to get your most value. That's a smart guy right there about when and where is the right time to buy expensive tools versus not expensive tools and all those different caveats. I just encourage, try to buy from people that you know and people that actually will support you. So before you get on Amazon, check out Jersey Discount Tool, Nick Morello, check those guys out, go through their list. They've always got hot deals, and get yourself some good buys. Get on your tool truck if you have one, and ask them for repo and use stuff. There's nothing wrong with getting something that may not, he may not warranty if it's another brand, or he may reach out to the other supplier if it's needing warranted or whatever. That applies to every type of tool that you get. Buy a good tool, buy it once, and then have it for life. And I think that's the biggest point that I'm trying to make. You don't have to do something, so ghetto as to take a ratchet head off of another ratchet and put it on a breaker bar. It doesn't even make any sense to me. It seems like a big pain in the ass when you could literally just go down to your local pawn shop and probably buy a done ratchet for the same price or a little less and have the whole tool. And if you have a good relationship with a dealer, if you have one, maybe he would service that tool for you. Obviously, he'd rather you buy it from them, and you should when you can. But anyway, guys, that's just the point that I wanted to make. Buy local, buy from people that help the community before you go to Amazon, but don't sleep on some of the lower line brands like Tecton and Gear Wrench and Ulsa and Capri and Wright Tools. All these different brands are out there and available. But don't forget, if you are on a tool truck and you do want tool truck quality tools, they all have a lesser brand or an industrial brand that you can get at a much better price point. So anyway, guys, support your local tool dealer, support people like Jersey Discount Tool, support your local hardware store, keep these places in business. COVID's killed everybody, and buy local when you can. And that's all I've got to say. So thanks, guys. This is 260 Jake. We out.